Welcome. We are just delighted to have fill the pews and have people here for someone that, if you don't already know, is quite a hero and for working for peace. And so we're very pleased to have Dr. Mitri Raheb here. Raheb, pardon. So I say hello and welcome to Dayspring, UMC. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm trying. You have some sheets that I've given you in terms of the words to say hello and welcome. Merhaban, okay, so we'll practice our language there. We are so pleased that you could join us tonight in this, sorry, glasses on it, tonight for this very special evening with Mitri, visiting us here from Palestine. I'm Bethany Lambrecht. I do Church and Society and other things here, and we have been blessed to have known in our family Mitri for over 20 years, starting in Colorado. If you were new to visit Dayspring, there is information in the pews in front of you there about some of the things that we have here. Oh, I'm sorry. Ryan? Yep, okay, sorry. Okay, if you're new to Dayspring, in front of you there's information about what goes on in this church and the work inside and outside, so please feel free to take any of those brochures if you'd like, and discover what happens here on our new second Sundays, too. It is fun and a creative morning for everyone. Following the talk, there will be books to purchase in the narthex going out this way, and discover what happens. Oh, sorry, I'm just skipping a line. Purchase in the narthex, and if you go straight on out, we'll have some refreshments out on the patio to visit there. So we hope that you will stay to meet Mitri and to visit. The patio's out to the left. The restrooms, by the way, are to the right here, or your left if you're up there. This way if you should need those. So please know those things, or ask some of our folks the questions if I have them. Okay, so I thank you for joining us, and especially thank you to Mitri to be here with us. And I will try the last warning and tell me that it's all right. Where's John? So the first word that you have on your sheet is, and peace be upon you, the welcome there. Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. You want to try that? Assalamu alaikum. All right. And thank you again. I would now like to introduce Wes Abram, who works with Bright Stars of Bethlehem, which is the foundation that creates these wonderful things you're going to hear about this evening. And he'll tell you more about Bright Stars, and he will present Reverend Dr. Mitri Raheb, our wonderful guest this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Bethany. I should just revise that a little bit. I'm currently the Academic Engagement Director for Churches for Middle East Peace, and have worked with Bright Stars in the past, and there are many people who are deeply connected to Bright Stars here who can give much more up-to-date information than I, and I trust they will through the course of the evening. I am also the Pastor Emeritus of Pinnacle Presbyterian Church in Scottsdale, and my wife Lynn and I, as I am retired now, we are blessed by the opportunity to attend church here at Dayspring when we're in town, and so have really come to hold the ministry and mission of this congregation in high regard, and your commitments in the church, in the community, and in the wider world. I was quite touched when Pastor Jeff and Bethany invited me to introduce Mitri Raheb tonight. The Reverend Dr. Mitri Raheb is a friend, an inspiration, a mentor, a teacher, and so much more to myself and to so many. I first met him in 1998 with a group of pastors visiting Palestine, learning more about the situation there. We sat with him at a room at the Christmas Lutheran Church in Bethlehem and learned about his ministry and the work that they were doing both to articulate to the wider world the condition and reality of Palestinian life, to do that in a theologically resonant and theologically sound way, attending to Scripture, attending to God's passion for justice and mercy in the world, and his vision for Bethlehem, and the witness not only to the wider world, but the witness of the church there in Bethlehem. Been privileged to watch that grow over the years, visiting several times over these years since, and seeing in him and watching his vision of a university in Bethlehem, dedicated to working with Palestinian students, Muslim and Christian, around arts and culture as a form of witness, as a form of resistance, as a form of resilience, what Palestinians call sumud, steadfastness on the land for the sake of truth, in a nonviolent way to seek justice in that place and in that time, and to provide hope to students who come from all over Palestine, oftentimes through great hardship, through checkpoints and other extraordinary difficulties to get to school, to learn, to find avenues of creativity and self-expression, and through self-expression to discover new ways of finding the work of truth and God's work in the world. You should know, and you may hear more about this tonight, that students from Dar al-Kalima University have won Academy Awards for their filmmaking, have been on teams that have had international recognition. It's extraordinary what that university has done in a short time. All the while, Dr. Raheb has had an active publishing career and an active scholarly career. He gathers people from all around the world, both in Palestine and other places in the world, to talk together about what's happening, about how we think theologically, about what God might be doing in the world this day, in this time. He has an extraordinary publishing record. I do not know how he does this work. I don't think he sleeps. He has published dozens of books, many of them that have had extraordinary influence. Decolonizing Palestine, Faith in the Face of Empire, The Politics of Persecution, books on reading the Bible through Palestinian eyes, and most recently edited a volume coming out of a group of scholars who are thinking about how do we think theologically as persons of faith in light of what we have seen happen and that is continuing to happen in Gaza. How do we think anew about God's work in the world? So it is, his resume is his work and his ministry. And his family is here tonight. His daughter is here. I hope you'll get a chance to meet her working with Bright Stars. And it is my honor to introduce Reverend Dr. Mitri Raheb.
Thank you. Thank you. Good evening, and great to be with you this evening here. Maybe for some of you it's the first time to meet a Palestinian, Arab, Christian, on top even a Lutheran pastor. I know it sounds like a contradiction, but it's not at all. Remember, Christianity started where? Palestine, right? And Jesus was born in Bethlehem, Palestine, not in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, right? I mean, just to make sure that we... And the Bible did not originate in the Bible Belt. Thanks God, right? So, but actually, when I served as the senior pastor of Christmas Lutheran Church in Bethlehem, for 8 years, I had a United Methodist pastor serving with me as associate pastor. That pastor became later bishop, not far from here, Sandy Allwine. Maybe she is, some of you might know her. She served 8 years with me in Bethlehem. And in fact, when I came on a sabbatical to the United States, she took over the church and was trying to do the service in Arabic, which is not easy. I mean, you noticed it when Bethany, where is she? When she was trying to say the Arabic word, it's not easy. And if you ask people in Bethlehem about Sandy, they will remember one story. When I was here in the States and she was doing the service, you know, and at the end of the service, always we have the benediction, right? the Lord bless you and keep you, right? You know that. And so Arabic is not easy, because if you miss just one small things, the meaning changes. And so when she was saying, the Lord bless you and keep you, she was saying, the Lord bless you and smash you. And so people in Bethlehem still remember Sandy and the United Methodist Church about God smashing people. So anyhow, this is just to start. And today I would like to take you actually on a journey to Palestine, to Bethlehem, and to share with you our story, the story of Dar al-Kalima University in Bethlehem. Now, again, these are Arabic words, and it might be good just for you to know what they mean. Dar means house, and al-Kalima means the word. You know, the word became flesh, right? So it's Dar al-Kalima, it's where the word became flesh. It's in Bethlehem. But actually, al-Kalima, which means the word, is also a name used in the Quran for Jesus, which many people don't know that. And so already in the name, we have that interfaith aspect, because as you heard from Wes, our students are 3/4 Muslim, 1/4 Christians. And we want everyone to feel they're at home. That's the Dar. People and students should feel at home. So, let's do it quick. Okay. So, actually in Palestine, which is the West Bank, Gaza, East Jerusalem, we have, believe it or not, 54 universities and colleges. We are a nation of 5 million in this area, and yet over 50 universities and colleges. If you come to Bethlehem, in Bethlehem we have 3 universities. That's like the little town of Bethlehem, right? 3 universities and 2 colleges. Because Palestinians learned actually to invest in education. You know, when Palestinians lost their homes, their land in 1948, they knew they have to invest in education, because you can lose many things, but you cannot lose things that are here. Now, Dar al-Kalima is the first and only university in all of Palestine with a focus on arts, culture, and design. So all other 53 universities and colleges, they really don't have this focus on arts, culture, and design. And so this is the niche where we really wanted to focus and to make a difference. And our university is really a success story from Palestine. You know, when you hear about Palestine in this country, you don't hear often about success stories, but Palestinian people have been very successful all over the world, in businesses, in education, in health, etc. But this is one success story, because it started very small back in 1995, and nobody even dreamed that in 25 years, this small ministry will become a full-fledged university. But I think we were blessed beyond our understanding. Our vision is to have life, for our people to have life and to have it abundantly. You know, if you live under occupation, and I will say a bit more about that, you know, your life is made miserable every day. And the Israeli occupation is telling you every day, you don't deserve to have life, and definitely it's not going to be abundant. But this is exactly why we are there. We want to make sure that what our landsman, Jesus, said 2,000 years ago is still true today for Palestinians. And our mission statement is to educate the next generation of creative leaders in Palestine. Imagine 20 years down the road, all the filmmakers, the musicians, the actors, the designers, the architects, they will come out of this university. They can actually transform Palestine in total. And so we want, as a university, with this focus on arts, culture, and design, to focus on what actually is called the creative class. Usually we don't hear about creative class. We hear about different kind of classes, economically, etc. But the creative class means 20%. This is actually a thesis that an anthropologist in Canada developed. His name is Florida, but he is in Canada, right? He said that in every society, 20 people of that society belong to what he called the creative class. These are young people that have ideas, creative ideas, and they can transform these ideas into businesses. And so this is really the group of people we are trying to focus on as university. So, as I said, we started 95, very small, as a cultural center. 2006, we became a community college, 2-year associate degree. Then, in 2013, we became a liberal art college, and 2021, we became a full-fledged university. So, basically, within few years, we had this very amazing history. We have 4 colleges, so we still have the community college of 2 years. We have the College of Art and Cultural Management. We have, this is too quick, College of Architecture and Design, and we have the graduate school. And for us, gender justice is important. Investing in women in Palestine is at the heart of what we do. And so if you look at our board, 50% of them are women. I have 3 vice presidents right now. All of them are women. If you look at our deans right now, 25% women, staff 49%. And if you look at our students, 66% of our student body are women. I think we can compete here with most of the universities, even in the United States, in terms of actually, this year we opened a Center for Innovation and Entrepreneurship, which means we don't want our students to sit there waiting for somebody to hire them, but we want them to develop ideas and to start businesses on their own, and maybe to invite other colleagues to work with them. And I know this church came few years ago to Palestine. I forgot how many years ago. But next time you come, where does it go? You have to come. Somehow. Anyhow, so now, okay. You have to come to our Hospitality Educational Center, because if you want to know another country, the best way to do it is through what? Food, right? And so next time you can see it's a state-of-the-art restaurant that you have to come visit and to try the food there. And our university is powered by 80%, over 80% by solar energy. You know, it's like Arizona. God gave us lots of sun, and we want to make sure that we are utilizing this and also protecting the environment. Though I have to say, you know, I was really looking forward for my visit this time to Arizona because I thought sun and so on. This week was not what I expected, but you know, this is life. I think you need water and you need rain. So we thank God for that at least. But, so that's the background. But you know, this could be a success story from anywhere in the world. But coming from Palestine under the most difficult circumstances is nothing but a miracle. And so after this, you know, opening, I would like to share with you something about life in Palestine, life in the West Bank, life in Gaza, life, our daily life there. Because Bethlehem is where hope was born, but also Palestine is where hope is every day challenged. You know, in Palestine, we have been living under the longest occupation in modern history. When Israel occupied Bethlehem and the West Bank, I was 5 years old. And so I spent my entire life under Israeli occupation. And you know, the Israeli occupation, they control your whole life. Everything in our life is controlled by the occupation. And so that is part of our... and for Palestinians, the prison is not the exception. Unfortunately, it is the rule. And I don't say that lightly. You know, in the last 55 years, Israel actually imprisoned over 1 million Palestinians. Can you believe it? We are a nation of 5 million. Already 1 million were in Israeli jails. There isn't one family where people were not imprisoned. And this is not for doing crime. This is just for their political activism, just for being Palestinians, asking for their rights. And if you come today to the West Bank, which is, you know, the West Bank, I think, is smaller than Delaware, right? It's very small compared with the U.S. We have within the West Bank over 1,200 checkpoints that Israel actually created. So if I want to go from Bethlehem to any even neighboring town or village, I have to cross through Israeli checkpoints. And imagine, you know, if you want to go from here just to Scottsdale, you have a checkpoint. And if you want to go from here to Phoenix, you have another checkpoint. Bethlehem has 56 checkpoints around Bethlehem. So there isn't one even dirt road that leads into or out of Bethlehem that doesn't have an Israeli checkpoint. So in that sense, it's not only the 1 million people are in prison. Actually, all the 5 million people are in prison. So this is how it looks like. And you can see these gates, these yellow gates or these red gates, they are actually operated by remote control. So an Israeli military officer with a small device like this can close all 1,200 gates just in one push at the button. And you never know which gate is open when. You never know. So every 15 minutes, the Palestinian people, you know, we learned how to deal with so many things. This is an app that Palestinian people created, And you can see these are all the checkpoints, the name of each checkpoint. And when it says green, it's open. When it says red, it's closed. And when I drive and cross a checkpoint, I can put in this app, this checkpoint is open or this checkpoint is closed. So every 15 minutes, people have anywhere I want to go. Before going, I need to check this app. Are now these gates open or are they closed? But again, this is 15 minutes before. When I arrive there might be closed. In fact, I was sharing with friends here, my wife, on Sunday, she went to check her eyes in Ramallah, which is 20 miles north of Bethlehem. Now imagine 20 miles is like going from here to Phoenix almost, right? So she went there. It takes, if everything is okay, all the gates are open, it takes 1 hour, 15 minutes. On the way back, it took her 5 hours because at one of the checkpoints, the Israeli, these are young Israeli soldiers, they want to have fun, so they close the checkpoint for 3 hours. And you have hundreds of cars on both sides are piling up. And you cannot do anything, You sit there and wait until, they open the gate. And this is what happens every day for people. So imagine if you have professors or students who come from outside of Bethlehem and every day they have to cross these checkpoints. What does that do to them? How can you operate a university when this is the daily life of Palestinians? And so this is how we feel as Palestinians. I'm not sure if you see it here clearly, but you see these high walls that actually also surrounds Bethlehem from 3 sides, and we are like squeezed between these walls. This is how we feel. So, but people ask, why art, culture, and design? Does it make sense? Isn't this a luxury to focus on art, culture, and design? Now, if you live in Palestine, art, culture, and design are not luxury. Maybe in this country, maybe for some people they think it's a luxury, but it is not. And I tell you why. First of all, for me, culture is like the art to breathe. As I said before, unfortunately, this is the longest occupation in modern history. It is not a sprint, it's a marathon. And in a marathon, you need to learn how to breathe, because if you don't learn how to breathe, you are going to kill yourself. So culture is the art to breathe, and it gives you that long breath to sustain yourself on that long journey of occupation. No, sometimes it goes too quickly. But also culture is a sacred space where people learn how to breathe freely in a context where the fresh air seems to be almost already used up. And when you feel that the air is used up, you feel you are going to, and so that's the power of culture, It helps you to breathe. Actually, it helps you to stay sane, because otherwise it's very easy, to lose it. Also, culture offers a space for dialogue, for people from different backgrounds and culture to meet, imagine when people from different nations come and they do music together. This is much more powerful than discussing about politics, because if they discuss about politics, they will fight. But when they do music together, this provides a common ground, a different language for people to come together. And it is a tool for emancipation. And this is really very important, because this is how people can express themselves. For example, we started the first female soccer team in Palestine. That is like now 18 years ago. Now you can, as a pastor, I used to preach how important it is for women to have full rights like men. But that's a sermon. But when our young women started the first soccer team, that actually created much more attention than my sermons. I was jealous, because, sport, you have it every day in the newspaper, and so you had our young women every day in the newspaper. But when I was preaching, once a year maybe somebody wrote about my sermon. But again, through sport, actually you could change the perception of what a woman can do or not do, much more powerful than anything else. And the same also is interesting when I looked at what many of our students in the film programs are producing. I discovered that actually many of the film deals with women empowerment. And again, these are young women doing film with their own ideas. And this is much more powerful than, again, a political lecture, because a film, people can see that all over the world. In fact, this film won already 18 international awards. It is done by one of our female professors. And you can see how actually art, culture, and design can be a much, much more powerful tool for communication. You can, in film, tell a story that you cannot tell it with words. And this is the power, again, of culture. And so this is why we are investing in culture, because we believe through art, culture, and design, actually, we can transform the face of Palestine, and we can do advocacy like no one else. But also, it is a tool for economic empowerment. Like our students say in art, they can produce, in this case here, for example, ceramics, but really high-end ceramics that they can sell. And today they sell most of these things actually online through websites, etc., and have income, and they can sustain their families. So it is economic empowerment. And last but not least, it is a way to resist a rager. In Gaza, in the genocide, Israel destroyed all cultural centers, all museums with all artifacts, everything, because they wanted to erase our culture, our history, and with our focus on arts, culture, and design, we want to assert our identity, our culture, to revive it. And so this is something, especially now, of utmost importance. It is actually Edward Said. I'm not sure if you are familiar with Edward Said. Edward Said was another Palestinian Christian who wrote, his most famous book is called Orientalism. But in another book on culture and resistance, he said, in the case of a political identity that's being threatened, that's Palestine, culture is a way of fighting against extinction and obliteration. Culture is a form of memory against effacement. And so this is exactly what we do in Dar al-Kalima. Our tagline as Bright Stars of Bethlehem is, hope is what we do, not what we see. Because if it's what we see, it's somebody else doing the work. But hope is what we do. And I will share with you just a few stories of the hope that we do in Bethlehem. Those of you who came and visited us in Bethlehem when I was a pastor and visited Christmas Lutheran Church, we have beautiful stained glass windows like you. I was moved by the windows from outside when we drove, and you saw the colors, very powerful. But in this case, here you cannot see it very clearly, but yeah, no, maybe you can see it. If you look at Jesus, you think he was from Scandinavia, on the right, and on the left, you think he was Irish. I mean, how come that, these German missionaries in the 19th century, in Bethlehem, where it's all happened, had Jesus like that? And so we said we need to change that. And so we started actually developing contextual art. So this painting, actually, I commissioned by a Palestinian Muslim artist from Bethlehem. And I said, I want you to have a painting with the birth of Christ in a Bethlehemite, real Bethlehemite. And so this was the outcome. Another piece that we commissioned is by the most famous Palestinian artist called Sliman Mansour. I said I would like to see the Last Supper. Not, with this that you see in Rome, right? But most probably this is how it looked like. And so we are contextualizing, actually, even the Christian art in Palestine. Oh, no. This is another interesting project that we did. We started, actually, the first and only lab in all of the Middle East to restore icons and paintings. You know how many icons we have, but also paintings that they need restoration. We didn't have anything like that in the whole Middle East. So we started one. It wasn't easy. And we trained the first cohort that you see here in the picture. And they started, and here actually they finished, restoring the icons of a Greek Orthodox church in the neighboring town of Bethlehem called Beit Jala. The interesting thing is almost all of students in this cohort, except 2, are Muslims. And so you had Muslim women restoring icons in a Greek Orthodox church. This can happen only in Palestine, and this is what we do. And we want to invest in empowering the next generation of creative leaders. One of that is we started an award for photography. And this award, it's called Karima Aboud Award. And Karima Aboud, if you came to Palestine, asked anybody 20 years ago, nobody knew who Karima Aboud is. She was nobody. It was by accident, actually, that somebody came to me one day and said, Pastor, do you know if this woman is buried in your cemetery? I said, the family Aboud, I know because one of my predecessors was Pastor Aboud. But let me check. So I went to the old records, and yes, she was buried in our. And he said, it seems she was a photographer. This is all what we knew. And so this actually triggered in me something. I wanted to know more about her. So for 1.5 years, I was actually researching, trying to find anything about her, even going to Berlin, to the archive there, to try to find something about her. For 1.5 years, I was during the day thinking of Karima, during the night dreaming of Karima. Thanks God she was dead, because otherwise I would have had problems with my wife dreaming of another woman. But anyhow, after 1.5 years, we wrote a book. Now there are 4 films that are done about Karima, including Al Jazeera documentary did a documentary about her. And 5 years ago, Google celebrated Karima Aboud. So from nobody, somebody who was nobody, to be celebrated on Google, this is actually what Dar al-Kalima does. In 2022, the 3 first winners of this award came from Gaza. You know, when we think of Gaza, we don't think of all the creative young people that are there. And just to give you an idea about the first 3, because it's interesting. If you look at the first 4 pictures, this was the first award. His name is Muhammad. Muhammad actually was assassinated, was murdered by Israel. You had the story running here in the news when the food truck, you remember the food truck that Israel bombed? He was around, was trying to get food. He was murdered there. So we lost a great photographer. The second one, the second pictures, he is missing since October 23, which means either he is still under the rubble, like many people that are still under the rubble, or the Israeli took him as hostage and he's somewhere in an Israeli prison. We don't know. But this is the second. The third one, his name is Mu'taz, was able actually to get out of Gaza, and he's now an influencer. He has millions of followers because he actually keep posting on social media pictures about Gaza. So in these 3, you can understand actually what the genocide is doing to the creativity of the people in Gaza and to our people. Another award we have for paintings in the name of Ismail Shammout. Ismail Shammout was one of the most important, painters in Palestine. You heard it from Wes. At the beginning, our students made it all the way to Cannes Film Festival. One of them, actually, you can see in the middle, Wissam, he won the 3rd prize at Cannes Film Festival. And actually, he comes from the largest refugee camp in Bethlehem called Dheisheh. And so, from the refugee camp to the red carpet, again, this is the story of Dar al-Kalima. Just this last month, one of our professors published the first ethnomusicology compendium, 3 volumes on Palestine, and he won a very, very important award. Munir is one of our MA students. Munir spent 7 years in Israeli prison without trial, because Israel can put people into prison without trial. They call it administrative detention, and they can. It's for 6 months, but this 6 months can be, renewed and renewed and renewed. Now he graduated. And he wrote his master thesis about artwork of Palestinian prisoners in Israeli prison. He interviewed 50 prisoners that were with him in prison, and collected some of the artwork they were doing in prison that you can see here. And it's an amazing work, but this is so important because we document through this master thesis, actually, something very important about artwork in Israeli prisons. But, you know, in a context of occupation, in a context of genocide, art and music therapy are very essential. You know, if you think of what people go through all the time, I wonder how they can actually keep their sanity. And for us, art therapy is important. And just a few months ago, we published the first ever book on music therapy in Arabic, which you see here. So let me, at the end, come to talk about our training center in Gaza. In fact, if you came to our center in Gaza before October 7th, this is how it used to look like. You can see there on the top the young woman. This is Rana. She is the director of our campus there, a young Palestinian accomplished artist. If you look below, you can see exhibitions. Every month we had an art exhibition at our center. If you look down to the left, you can see our students learning their painting, and on the top, we were doing many programs for kids. But last year, during Holy Week, Israel bombed our campus. So actually, you can see now it's in rubble. All that creativity, the paintings, the artwork of the students, everything is gone. And this was devastating for our staff, for our people, for our students. And if you think of the images coming out of Gaza, of the prisoners, it reminds you really of something that happened in Germany in the 30s and 40s. But our people are still resilient, so we had over 2,000 students online, taking online classes from Gaza, as long as they had internet access. Unfortunately, only 600 out of the 2,000 had internet access and could finish their courses. But still, you know, they wanted to learn. And today we have actually 36 of our staff and volunteers. They are displaced all over the Gaza Strip, and they reach out to over 20,000 kids through art and music therapy. It's an amazing staff. I tell you, I mean, when I get depressed of the situation, I talk to them because, you know, they lost their homes, they are living in tents, but they are saying, you know, we cannot give up. We need to reach to these kids that are displaced and live in tents. And they are doing really amazing work. So let me see. Okay, yeah, no, yeah. So one of the new projects that we did just this last week, a new book came out that you can find actually and buy there. It's called Lilies of Gaza, actually celebrating the lives of 22 female artists from Gaza, again focusing on the female artists. Two of these female artists actually were killed during the genocide. 20 are still living. 6 of them live outside Gaza, but the majority are still in Gaza. And all the proceedings of this book will go to the artists themselves directly, because our chairperson paid for the printing of the book, and so we want actually to support those female artists in Gaza right now. I hope I can show you this video. I hope it will work. This video was done by one of our volunteers and staff in Gaza with the kids together. And it's amazing because, you know, as I said, everyone is displaced. They live in tents. There is no electricity. At night, everything is dark. And it's now the children, through this program, they are lighting, actually, all of these tents at night through this very creative project. So I hope it will work, and you can read what they say and listen to them. You cannot hear for some reason. And I'm not sure if you can read it. Yeah. So anyhow, what they are saying actually there is their dream, what they were dreaming of. They were dreaming of traveling throughout the world. They were dreaming of becoming artists, of becoming architects. And then you can see actually how the Israeli aeroplanes are shattering their dreams. It's a very, I mean, just to think that these displaced kids in Gaza who are living in tents, they have nothing, have produced this video a month ago is amazing. I mean, it's really amazing. So let's see. And it's sad that it's very small. Maybe I can read it for you. That might help. If not, I can just read it. It's okay. It's okay. So I will read it for you. So it says, in a corner of memory, their old laughter. Honestly, it feels so good to be together. These are the kids are saying. Honestly, I love life, and I dream of traveling, seeing the world, and breathing air that isn't polluted. You know what I wish for? I wish for a big balloon or anything that flies to carry me far, far away from the war. Look, it's the aid plane bringing food, meaning. Do you remember what we used to dream of before the war? We used to dream of becoming artists. Miss Iman used to tell us, you are going to be famous artists. Do you think we will live to see our dreams come true? Sarah, what was your dream? And you don't hear the noise of the destruction. Sorry that it didn't work the way I wanted it, but it gives you the idea of what the kids in Gaza and what the people in Gaza in this genocide are experiencing, but also the work that our staff in Gaza are doing. And so I will end with this. We are committed, actually, to rebuild our campus in Gaza because this is our commitment and our promise, not only to our staff, but also to our students there, because that is the hope. Hope is what we do. Thank you very much.
Okay, I promise I won't take that much time because there's nothing more powerful that I can say to you. But I would like to introduce myself. I'm the Executive Director of Bright Stars of Bethlehem. We are the way you can get money to Dar al-Khalami University to support this amazing work. So everything you have heard tonight, think about that as I share with you how you can help support that work. So first of all, you saw this amazing book, The Lilies of Gaza. We have copies out there for $30 a piece for you to take your own piece of art, piece of culture home with you tonight. And Mitri, being the very prolific author that he is, and again, we're pretty sure he does not sleep, here his most recent book, Theology After Gaza. So if you are looking for some more reading material to learn more, we encourage you to pick this one up as well for $20 outside. The biggest thing you can do, though, is help us be the hope, because hope is, you heard it, what we do. There we go. A little louder, please. Hope is? There we go. So how do we do that hope? You will see at the end of your pews these beautiful envelopes. Find those envelopes. You can put check, cash. If you want to make a donation online, we can help you make that happen. I think the only thing I can't do is take Bitcoin. So cryptocurrency, I'm sorry you're out of luck, but anything else, we can get that money over to Dar al-Kalima to help our students, to help with art therapy, to do that amazing work. So if you get that envelope, put your donation in. There are baskets around, or there's some wonderful ladies in the back who will take these, or if you look for this bright red jacket, I promise you can find me and I will take that envelope. We are so pleased to be here with you tonight. We're so glad you came out to hear this message. It is heavy, hard work that Mitri is doing and that everybody over in Palestine is doing. So we are so eternally grateful that you all took an evening to be here with us and to hear more about it and to support what we're doing. With that, thank you again for having us here. While the baskets are coming around, we have the great privilege that Mitri is able to answer some questions tonight. So if anyone has a question, we are happy to take it. Mitri can take a couple questions before we end the evening. Do I see any questions out in the audience? Anybody? Yes. Might have to have you come up to the mic unless I can take it with me.
Yeah, you can
I think I can take it with
yeah.
me. We're taking the show on the road.
With all the destruction that we see, I'm perplexed about how do you establish ownership of real estate in that situation such that you can build infrastructure and buildings?
Yeah, in Gaza, this is a good question. Actually, believe it or not, Gaza, with all the problems, the prices of square foot there was most probably more expensive than Phoenix. Remember President Trump saying he wanted to have the Riviera there? You heard him say that, right? His son-in-law said this is seafront, right? So, though everything is destroyed, actually people are staying there because they know even if the house is destroyed, first of all, their home, nobody can replace, their home, feeling at home. But also, they know, this land, though destroyed, it's seafront. It could be the Riviera of the Middle East. And so they are not giving up on that. But it's going to be very, very difficult because even, the boundaries between one piece of land and the other is gone. And so you have to rely now on on different aerial photos, etc. So that's going to be a tough issue.
With the news that we receive here in the United States being so distorted and very often heavily laden with bias, what's something that, as somebody who lives in Palestine, that you think that an American person would not know that you think is important to speak to an American audience?
Yeah, again, a very important question, because indeed you don't get here the full picture. In the States you might have a free press, except on Palestine, because it's not free, unfortunately. And this is why we encourage people today to look for alternative news. If you watch, for example, Al Jazeera, which you can get here as well, or online, and there are many that can give a much better, actually, picture of what's happening here. We are putting also together, as Bright Stars, you can find it on our website soon, some of the books that are helpful for you if you would like to learn more, which books we really encourage people to read, besides my books. But
Reverend Doctor?
Yeah, okay, here.
How far back in time does the coexistence of both Christian and Muslim Palestinians go in the lands there? I've heard people say, in essence, that this is a phenomenon that's recent, but it does seem to me from biblical history that it goes a lot further back. But with respect to Christians and Muslims, how far back in time does this go?
That goes like almost 1,500 years ago. Already in the 7th century, Christians and Muslims started living together, but also we had Jews, and we never had a problem with Palestinian Jews. The problem became when Zionism, as a political ideology and as a religious nationalism, basically, wanted to have all the land just for Jews and to displace Palestinians irrespective of their Christians or Muslims. This is when the problem. But Jews were always part of Palestine, but these were Palestinian Jews. Not people coming from Brooklyn or something. And
have you ever had an opportunity to speak with President Trump or members of his administration, you or maybe other Christian leaders from Palestine?
Actually, no, not really, not yet. Vice President Vance, when he was now for a month ago in Jerusalem, he met with the two patriarchs in the Holy Sepulchre Church, and he heard about also the problems of Christians in Jerusalem and the churches in Jerusalem. The interview he gave afterwards sounded good, but you never know. But I personally, I make several trips a year to Washington. We meet with people in Congress. We try to tell our story, irrespective if they are Republicans or Democrats. Some of them are open and become engaged. Others are less because they are Christian Zionists in their thinking. And we feel that they are not open even to listen. I don't want to name who are these people that are, but you have them. Yeah.
Hello, Pastor. I'd like to ask you about how the Palestinians are descended from Canaanites or Ammonites and so forth. Pardon my, I don't know the history about that. Thanks.
Yeah, the people in Palestine experienced different waves where they had to adjust to changes, religious, socio-political, economic changes, and even environmental changes. And so the people, most of the time, stayed there. I mean, like if you ask me, my family, most probably, they have been there 2,000 years ago, right? But the identity of our people changed. So they were maybe Canaanite, worshipping the Baal. They became believer of Yahweh. Then they became Jewish. Then they became Christians. Then they became Muslims. They spoke Aramaic. Then they spoke Arabic. So the identity changes, but the people actually, most of them stayed there. But also some newcomers came and became also part of the people of the land, which you can see today in Palestine in the name of the families. This family actually has maybe Turkish background. This family has a Mughal background. This family had, we have also African Palestinians who came from Sudan in the 19th century, but all became actually part of the Palestinian people. And again, Jews, Christians, and Muslims, and Samaritan, and Druze. And that's important because Palestine has been always pluralistic in nature. And actually what Israel is trying to do is to destroy this pluralism and to want to have it as a monolithic, mono-religious country. And this is not what Palestine is. Great. Maybe one last question from the young man. It's always good to have young people asking questions.
Thank you for your time. Besides giving financially, are there other ways to get involved with Bright Stars of Bethlehem or Dar al-Kalima?
You want me to take this one?
Yeah, please.
So we love to have volunteers. We love to have people on the ground because our staff is pretty small. We're all here tonight. We have about 2.5 people who travel across the U.S. to try to make this all happen. So we can use individuals to help be our feet on the ground in these areas, to share information, to get us into places like Dayspring, to speak, to let other people know when we're coming, to spread that word out, to sell books. The way we do that is ambassadors. So we have an entire ambassador network across the United States. I'm happy to talk to you more about that because that is something we always need, is just people who are excited, who are dedicated, and want to see this grow. It's really grassroots.
Maybe just to add to that, I like to speak of the 5 Ps that you can do. The first P, you can, prayers, we need your prayers. When you pray for something, it means you care about it. Pilgrimages, I hope when the situation becomes better that you will come and visit Palestine, that this church, where is Pastor Jeff and Pastor, so you can put together a group who want to visit the Holy Land. That is something important. So pilgrimages. Political advocacy. Your representative needs to hear from you. Whenever I go to the Hill, they tell me, where are your supporters? We see, the Israel lobby, they send their people every day, but your people, they don't come. We need them to hear more. The 4th P is pick a project to support. It could be giving a scholarship to students or something. That is very important. But the 5th thing is I would like to end with is we were talking today about churches that care about Palestine and support our ministry. And we discovered actually we don't have one single United Methodist Church supporting us officially as a partner church. So my challenge to you, maybe you got it. Thank you very much.
So thank you again for coming. Just a reminder, as we end tonight, we are so appreciative of you being here. Don't forget those amazing books that you can take home with you. We are selling them right outside that door, and Mitri will be available to sign them. And I believe there's also some refreshments available. So if you go out right past where we'll be with our information, out to the courtyard, correct? There will be punch and cookies. And again, thank you so much for joining us.